can never tell when these things are live.
By the time you say that, it's live.
All right, welcome to Monday Monday podcast. Today's December 10th, 2018. Today you have me and Tom, and we're going to be talking a lot about the new trailers that were dropped this week, which are Godzilla King of the Monsters, Avengers 4 Endgame, and a bunch of the cool stuff today. So I sent you the link, Tom, if you want to pull that up right quick, to the new Godzilla trailer.
Alrighty.
All right, let's see what this is about.
The ocean.
Wait, is this Little Mermaid? Oh, wait, no, it's not.
People running. Oh, look, another Doomsday movie.
I'm trying to figure out what bomb shelter Millie Bobby Brown climbed into. It looks like Bat Blast from the Past with Brendan Fraser, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, look, it's Jurassic World. Oh, wait.
Um. See, I don't know half of these creatures, so
Oh, I do. There's, that was Ghidorah or Ghidorah. Some people call it two different things.
I know Mothra and Godzilla, but I can't
Rodan,
remember most of the. Okay, I know that name. Yeah.
that's Mothra right there. There's Rodan flying over top of buildings.
So how many freaking monsters is in this? Because there's another
Actually, it seemed to
three,
be
four.
it's only Godzilla and three monsters, but they're playing different clips again.
So I'm trying to understand where she comes in.
I honestly don't know.
A young girl with psychic abilities can contact Godzilla.
You know that's not too far off.
Mothra
The
looks pretty cool.
the old '90s Godzilla actually had that. They had a young girl who had psychic abilities who could contact Godzilla in the old. I think it's called the Hensai series.
Well, all I can say is it looks far less boring than the first one.
Oh yeah. You remember the first one when they started fighting and it was it was the airport terminal TV. I, I
Yeah. Uh, yeah, the first one was pretty boring to me, quite honestly. Um, it had the whole show the monster at the very last moment type thing going on, and it's like, we're here for a Godzilla movie. Let's get to
yeah.
Godzilla. And then when you get to Godzilla, it's boring because every minute is from a human perspective nearly. And I wasn't remotely a fan of that movie because the very first thing they did was kill off the most interesting character they had, which was
Yeah.
Bryan Cranston, was just
Yep.
chewing scenery, and out the door he goes because he's got to go back for some more Breaking Bad. And it's like, wow, you just lost the main protagonist, and now we're stuck with his boring ass son.
I specifically remember when they were first releasing info about Toho's deal with Legendary, and man, I felt like it was such a wasted opportunity to not give Godzilla a rebirth in this like modern day society because in 1954, they give Godzilla the birth of, technically the H bomb, and I've always was kind of intrigued with them redoing Godzilla's origin in a modern setting with the Fukushima disaster that happened in 2009,
Yeah.
which for some reason Japan kind of did that with Shin Godzilla, like with radioactive toxic waste just being dumped in the Tokyo Harbor Bay, creating like this whatchamacallit. I don't
Yeah, I've seen bits and pieces of that one.
if I don't know which one's more boring, Godzilla 2014 or Shin Godzilla, because Shin Godzilla starts off with basically no one knows what it is, and then it's a bunch of Japanese scientists, and then they're like, "Did we take military action? No, let's study it." And then it comes back and starts creating radiation waste. And they're like, "Did we take military action? No, let's study it." And then yeah, it's like a rinse and repeat of the same thing. And then once it starts to take like a form of where it's walking, oh, hey, we found an origami structure that turns into Godzilla. Oh, military action? No, let's study it. It's like the all opportune times it turns into like a bad anime. Like they wait till its final form to do any damn thing against it.
Yeah, that was kind of unbelievable because it's like, well, it's tearing up 50% of the city. Let's watch. Huh? Okay. Yeah, thanks to October. I don't know if I truly want to thank him. I
Oh
uh,
boy.
I watched bits and pieces of that one. He was kind of adamant about me watching the whole thing, and it's like, dude, I'm too old to watch an entire Godzilla movie. And the last time I did, it was the boring crap we got
Yeah, exactly.
in a modern U.S. take on it. And it's like, yeah, no, thank you.
Oh, and that's another thing that kills me. Like the ambassador of Japan from the United States is half Japanese. Like, how convenient.
Yeah, yeah, no kidding. To me, the worst part was the whole prepubescent Godzilla form
Oh God,
and all that crap. And I was like, what the hell am I looking at here?
dude, it creeped me out looking at, like, like when you look at fish in the fish market and they got those dead fish eyes.
Yes.
I was like, oh God, that's disgusting because it's like dead fish eye Godzilla. It's like I know I wasn't ready for that.
And just such a goofy looking form
Oh, I know.
uh,
It's like it's
at the first.
when it's going through the buildings and such, dude. It's like wobbling itself like a earthworm through the fucking Tokyo. It's
Well, I told him, I said it looks like a big throbbing penis making its way through the city because it's like, what is this crap? It's like, can we just get to it? I don't know why there always has to be so much lead up and junk. I mean, I get that you need human characters to kind of ground things, but at the end of the day, everyone just wants to see a fight between a bunch of monsters.
or a monster who just destroys the fucking city and no one can do anything. I mean, how
Yeah.
hard is it to do that?
Or let's wait and watch. It's still kind of ridiculous. And of course, he was kind of waxing all poetic about it because it's like, well, see, this is what would happen in a bureaucratic society. They can't make the decisions to destroy him. And it's like,
Who cares?
no, no.
Like, who cares?
Nobody gives two craps about what they can't accomplish as a government. It's like destroy it, fight it, kill it. There's not many other options when thousands upon thousands of your people are dying because they're being crushed under Godzilla pain.
And what kills me about this is like there's this gigantic monster not nearly 500 miles off the coast of China, and the U.S. is the one concerned about it. It's like you think the Chinese would launch a preemptive strike? Sin nuke, boom! Like,
And in a way, that kind of shows a bit of weakness because it's like you would think, being a Japanese movie, they'd they'd want to show themselves as strong and making strong decisions and stuff. But at the end of the day, the movie still comes down, help us, USA. And it's like, okay. It's like, you can't take care of your own crap. Okay.
Article 7 of the U.S. treaty that we signed after 1945 says we cannot use military force unless we are threatened as a country. I'm like,
I'm thinking you're threatened as a country if something's killing your people.
I'm like, Okinawa is like how far from Japan, and there's a military base. Like, just, I don't know, man. Between both Godzilla films, it's like, can someone just do some proper writing for once? And
Apparently not.
this is a movie you're supposed to turn your brain off to, and you're making me think. That's what kills me.
There should be no thinking in monster movies.
I totally agree. I mean, people go on about Godzilla '98 being a bad movie, but at least I could say for at least I saw more Godzilla in that film than I did in Gareth Edwards.
Yeah.
All right, moving on to the thing you're painting. Uh, have you heard any reviews about Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse yet?
I have not, mainly because I'm not super interested in it. The new Spider-Man movie, yeah, okay, but I don't know, an animated take with a half a dozen Spider-Man in it, just okay, whatever.
Well, I remember us touching subjects about it some time ago, and I just recently found out that they did something a little bit, uh, I guess the word is derogative to the character itself, because the actual Spider-Man, not the Miles, not the Gwen Stacy, Spider Gwen, but the actual Spider-Man they actually have in the movie, they made him married to Mary Jane, and then they actually put a scene in there where he's divorcing Mary Jane. And I'm like, why did you even put that in there? That's
Well, because you see, that modernizes him because everyone's divorcing nowadays, and there's no true love out there, and any number of other excuses.
I
Yeah,
think people are. Go
I
ahead.
don't know if they ever did that in the comics or anything. I think they've had a time or two where they took a break, um, but I don't know if that was before or after they were married.
Well, it honestly seems like they didn't really know what they were doing with this film, with all these jumbled up characters. Like, no one voted to see a movie about Spider Pig. At least I did.
Yeah, that one's really out of left field. I'm assuming he's not in the movie that much.
Uh, for what I'm seeing, he kind of is. It's
Jeez.
like a jumbled up movie about basically helping Miles Morales become Spider Man with a bunch of other fucking Spider Man. So
Hmm.
yeah,
They really are pushing hard for that Miles character. You're you were forced to play as him in the new Spider-Man game.
I'm not surprised if they're going to do this, which will I'll go into our next subject with Avengers 4 Endgame trailer that came out. Uh, did you see it?
Yeah.
What were your thoughts?
Well, it's more of a teaser, really, because there's nothing going on in it.
Right.
Like I mean, yeah, we get the Ronin reveal of Hawkeye turning into the Ronin character or whatever, but really, it's just a bunch of sad looks and I thought it was great and all that, but it was just there was nothing to go on.
Now, I heard that Spider-Man Far From Home is actually supposed to be set after the events of Avengers 4. Is that right?
Yeah, so it takes place in London, so he's got to be back.
So I'm kind of curious, is Marvel going to try to incorporate what I was going back to what I was saying earlier? They're going to try to incorporate Miles Morales into the MCU eventually because it kind of looks that way.
Well, when Tom Holland reaches a ripe old age and doesn't look like a teenager much anymore, they're probably going to start weaving him into the storylines
Hmm.
because they'll have their backup plan for when he decides he wants to quit being Spider-Man.
Right.
And they'll be like, "Oh, well, there's this other kid." It's like I don't even know his storyline. Um,
Yeah, it does seem kind of odd because Homecoming didn't really explain how he became Spider-Man. At least that's what I gathered. It's like Tony Stark just comes out of the blue because he's just a smart ass kid.
well, I meant Miles Morales
Oh, you meant
more than
him.
him.
Oh,
Yeah,
crap,
I
my
mean they
bad.
kind of went on the assumption that you've already tread that water three, 4, 5 movies before it. So I mean I can get that decision. I think it was a decent move for him to sort of be like, okay, Spider-Man's out there. Tony found out about him. So there's just and it was a result of the movie that he first appeared in too, because they don't have time to sidestep all the drama going on between Cap and Iron Man to give him an origin story. So that trailer will be the next thing that drops soon as we turn the podcast off,
Oh, yeah, no, right.
because I saw a report that it had already dropped, but we can't see it here in America. So like it's somewhere else. Like they debuted it in a weird kind of way. I don't know.
All right.
I don't
So
know how
this
they're
is
doing
what
that.
Wikipedia is stating about Miles Morales. It says Miles Morales is a fictional comic book superhero appearing in publications by American publisher Marvel Comics as one of the characters known as Spider-Man. The character was created in 2011 by Brian Michael Bendis and artist Sarah Pichelli, with Bendis and Marvel then editor-in-chief Axel Alonso drawing inspiration from both U.S. President Barack Obama and American actor-rapper Donald Glover. So basically, this is Donald Glover as a kid in a Spider-Man suit. Terrific.
Okay. Whatever you say.
I'm
Yeah,
trying.
you
Go ahead.
you had to play as him, which was kind of weird in the game because he wasn't a Spider-Man. He was just himself. So you had to do that whole Mary Jane thing where you just kind of skulk around. Like, okay, sure.
It says the character possesses powers similar to those of the original Spider-Man, which were derived from the bite of a spider genetically engineered by Spider-Man's nemesis Norman Osborn in an attempt to duplicate those abilities. Eh, So what? A clone spider of the spider that bit Peter? That's like that's like the Scarlet Spider, but in a different sense. That's that's
Yeah,
just weird.
you got me. Sounds like he was trying to recreate the experiment that produced the spider.
Yeah, but this is it. I don't know, man. I stopped getting into Spider-Man like right around 2007 because it just kind of like lost interest with me. It's like Marvel had became so like main based that it stopped being a comic franchise and more of a movie franchise at that point.
Yeah. It's been a long while since I picked up a Spider-Man book,
Hmm.
but I was knee deep in the whole Ben Riley saga and all that stuff when that's when I was collecting comics and specifically collecting Spider-Man comics. And so it just seems like they're trying to bring in yet another Spider character.
Yeah.
What do we do when this one gets stale?
We finish off the Amazing Spider-Man series.
Yeah,
Oh, jeez.
yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I'd like to see that Far From Home trailer. I'm pretty worried about the Mysterio stuff because he's not one of those characters that ever really was a great foe.
He wasn't a great foe in the Spider-Man 2 game either.
Yeah,
Ugh, I hated that part of the game. You were just swinging above like fire the whole time, trying to rescue people.
that and what the Statue of Liberty too. At one point, you had to,
Oh God, yeah.
and then it was just this spinning around the Statue of Liberty to the point you want to puke.
Didn't it have something to do like these orbs she had to like destroy around the Statue of Liberty?
Yeah, yeah, he had set him up, and that was the source of his power or something. And then Brian Singer saw that and did an X Men movie. No, no, I think the X Men movie is probably older
X-Men
than
came
that.
out. Yeah, X-Men came way before that happened.
But
I actually saw that in theaters as a kid. I still remember when Hugh Jackman did that whole like Matrix move, his claw and cut off the Statue of Liberty's spike tiara to get back up on top of its head.
oh yeah, that's right.
I think that would have been a little funny if they actually had left that part like cut off in the Spider-Man game, like something had
Yeah.
happened. Uh, but to go on from this, did you see the other trailer for Captain Marvel?
Um, the most recent one with Samuel L. Jackson petting a kitty.
Yes. Yeah, it's oh my God.
Dude, that chick can't act. I'm sorry. Those lines were delivered horribly, horribly.
I'm just trying to figure out if the rumors are true that the scratches and the eyeball being removed or scratched all to hell on Samuel Jackson's face is what gives Nick Fury the eye patch from the kitty.
That would be the lamest crap ever, dude. But believe it or not, I saw a toy that actually had that cat in a package with Fury, and the cat had
Shack-
a
Shackles.
muzzle, and shackles.
Yeah, that was a leak by Hasbro that a lot of people are like, that's a spoiler. did
Yeah,
did you see that fucking Brie Larson doll that Hasbro's making?
no,
Oh my god, dude, it's terrible. It's it's like putting a bobblehead on top of a I don't even know. It's like it's not even Barbie size. It's like this. Oh god, I'd
that
rather
bad, huh?
show this. Yeah, it's that bad. Hang on, give me a second.
All right.
It's an embarrassment by Hasbro their part. for this stuff, but here it is right here. Let me see if I can send you the link.
Through Facebook or email.
Email.
Yeah, it starts to look better and better as the sidelines come in. Those vertical lines look a little
Okay.
weird without the others. These, even though there's a groove there to paint by, it's still a pain in the butt.
All right, sent the email.
Let me check.
It's it doesn't have a title for it. It's just like a blank email with the link in it.
Oh, geez. Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
that's typical girl doll thing. They're trying to appeal to.
it's very Bratz like.
Yeah. They're trying to appeal to a very young uh, girl set with those.
Yeah, isn't this the type of stuff that sat on the shelves for like 2 years, bankrupting Toys R Us?
Yeah, most of these movie toys just um, don't sell that well.
You know when I first saw it, you know what the first thing that came to my mind was Team America action.
Oh, geez, yeah, it does look Team America, doesn't it? And of course, that's Marvel Legends, and they're pretty good actually. That cat must be integral to the plot point. It's like in everything. They're pushing it hardcore.
And look, she doesn't smile on these either.
Yeah, the scrolls. I'm glad to finally see those popping up. And then of course we had the whole '90s time frame and stuff for it.
Look at that head sculpt, man. That's terrible.
Yeah, that's not good at all.
I still don't know what that one is. The like uh turquoise outfit. It looks like some power suit.
Yeah, I think at one point she has an aura or something like that. I might have spotted that in the trailer. That could
Oh,
be their version of the sort of green aura that she has with the suit. But yeah, I mean, I could have gotten into the character. Although, back in my day,
they drew them better.
it was the dude in the Captain Marvel thing. And
Oh
so
yeah.
I I didn't even know she had taken up the mantle until some of this stuff started cropping up. And it's like, okay, well, cool. Now if they just do it right and they immediately cast that gal and that trailer, I just can't stop thinking about how bad the lines were delivered in that. I mean, I don't know how to describe it. It's like when a real person tries to act and they think they're doing really well, but it
Mm.
sounds kind of stuttered and awkward and weird. That's exactly how that trailer comes off. That's exactly how she comes off to me. I think someone on the forum was defending her and said, "Oh, well, she can act," and I'm like, "Well, she sure as hell ain't acting very well in this trailer."
Well, there's actually an article um, of an interview with Brie Larson where Marvel came up to her and said they wanted to make a feminist movie. So the sincerity of that article being actually factual, especially nowadays, doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, I don't. I don't know if you're wanting to portray a strong woman in film, then why why act that way? It's very it's very teen girly, you know, a cheerleader trying to be an actress kind of thing. It just isn't great at all. So it definitely immediately turned me off from it because it's like, oh, okay, I'm not sitting 2 hours through that.
Yeah. Uh,
It'd have been different if she actually sounded like a badass and was, it was legit, but it was far from it really. Far from it.
well, considering the fact that this movie is going to be competing with Shazam, the original Captain Marvel, within only a month difference.
It's the first time I've actually rooted for a DC movie.
Speaking of DC, they're saying the Aquaman is actually pretty good too.
I'll believe it when I see it, which will be sometime when I can rent it on Netflix. I look, DC has not entrusted themselves to me whatsoever. I can't trust them on anything they produce. So I'm gonna have to wait it out. Now I actually went in to see Wonder Woman. Let's see. Okay, well, here's the odyssey that has been DC movies for me.
Okay.
Man of Steel was coming out, and I was I don't know if excited. I was just like, oh, okay, maybe a slightly modern take on Superman, and this will be kind of cool. And the trailers didn't really make it out to be anything like it was. Went and saw it, walked out vowing I would never bother with a DC movie again because it was
Right.
so freaking horrible. Uh, Everybody I was with, and just so people know that I'm not with a bunch of uppity friends at a movie, I went with my mother and my wife, and I think my stepfather went along, and the resounding opinion was, "Wow, that was crappy." And I was like, "Yeah, I just don't know." And then it was like I didn't see another DC movie in the theater until Wonder Woman. And mainly that was because Wonder Woman kind of had a little. It was like, oh, okay, so they're just gonna flat steal the plot points from Captain America: First Avenger. Well, at least we know it'll be decent. So yeah, no hope for Aquaman or any other DC movie. Now I did. It feels that way with Shazam. To bring it back around to Shazam, it kind of feels like that kiddie kind of fun aspect of it is there. So it might be okay, but the comic geek in me is like, uh, that's really kind of an abortion of the character because I don't ever remember in my time reading it, even though he was a boy turned to a man, he never acted like a teenager. He wasn't just some ignorant kid in the body of a superhero. So that's kind of awkward for me.
Well, I'm curious as to see what they're going to do with the film at least. I'm not too keen on Shazam all too much other than, what you just stated. He's a boy that turns into a man with superpowers basically. I know there was a lot of talk about his outfit kind of being very cheap for a DC film.
Well,
So,
it's extremely padded. Like whatever the Zachary guy, no way he's built like that.
yeah,
And
it does. Go ahead.
the dead giveaway is like at the neckline because the suit is so far removed from like his chest where it stops at the neck that it's like, yeah, that's a muscle suit.
Yeah, because what I was about to say, it looks like the tick with all that extra muscle added to it.
Yeah, I don't know, but I'm more willing to give that a chance because it just seems goofy. It's not as serious. That's always been a problem I've had with the DC movies. They're too serious and too dark and too everything, really.
And now here comes Marvel making a too serious stone faced woman, which a lot of people are comparing Captain Marvel to Captain America especially with the trailer scenes. Like you see Brie Larson and then you see Steve Rogers. They're both on the floor after they're trying to train, and then you go straight to them in an outfit, like civilian outfit, and then they're wearing their
Well,
suit.
I think part of that is just all those trailers start to kind of mush together over time because they're really, you know, they're kind of the same story over and over again. Most superhero stories are the same story over and over again.
Yeah, pretty much good versus evil. Good wins.
Man finds purpose. Man becomes hero.
Man
Yeah.
discovers fire.
Yeah. We have discovered the wheel and Brie Larson. They both have the same acting chops. We'll call them Kristen Stewart.
Oh Jesus. Oh God. I really hope if Disney Marvel decides to do X-Men, now that they own the license with Fox, I really
Yeah.
hope that they'll put Kirsten Stewart as Rogue. That would just ruin everything.
Oh, geez. I don't know if she's gotten too old for it now or not. I don't know. Well, what they now, if you stick with the Marvel thinking process right now, which is powerful women, powerful women. Well, that's not Marvel. That's DC. That's Disney thinking.
Hmm.
What I want to see out of Rogue is the Southern Belle Temptress, like back in the '90s, because
Oh
you
God,
know,
I'd love the 90s X-Men cartoon. Loved it.
exactly. I want to see that version, not from a perverted standpoint or anything, but you know, she was strong, she was sassy, um, she had an attitude, and she did what she wanted, wore what she wanted, kind of thing, and I think it's kind of time to move on from whatever the singer was doing with the whole teenage rogue stuff.
Well, someone posted on the forum that they actually want to see Rogue suck the power out of Captain Marvel. So
Oh, I saw that. It was Hawk or somebody that said that.
yeah.
I
Oh
don't know.
man.
I don't
It's
know what
just
they'll
to me
do.
when I well now you got me thinking about Disney X Men. Just I just like oh god. I don't know who I'd see in those roles.
Well, they're already in the
I,
process of castrating Deadpool, so
yeah.
everybody,
When is
let's
that?
go watch Once Upon a Deadpool so we can reiterate to Disney that it's okay to have a PG-13 Deadpool because, we all went and saw it, and now that means it can sell tickets rated R or PG-13. So it doesn't really have to be rated R, and Disney can scrape in much more money than they would have on a rated R Deadpool. Yeah, not falling for that shtick. Not falling for that. And that's what they'll do. They'll use that to justify when he finally makes it over to Disney and Once Upon a Deadpool does well, they'll go, well, Ryan, your Deadpool movie doesn't really need to be rated R. Look how much bank you made going PG 13. We're not going to approve this R rating anymore. And there goes Deadpool.
Or there goes Ryan Reynolds. Because
Apparently not, because he was stupid enough to do this crap to begin with. I like the guy, but who can't see that coming? If you actually, and he said he had to agree to it. He said he would only do it a certain way, and it would be if they did this Once Upon a Deadpool thing. And it's like, can you not read the writing on the wall? They're castrating this so they can justify it later on.
which makes
Yeah.
me think like what's the eventual end game here with Disney and the Marvel franchise? I mean, it just seems like if you keep dumbing down all the characters past their point of their origin, then they're no longer the characters they were to begin with.
Yeah.
Especially with Deadpool.
Especially with what?
I said especially with Deadpool.
Yeah. I can't imagine those movies at any other rating. And it's not just because, oh well, I enjoy the F word. No, honestly I don't. But I enjoy gratuitous violence and weird situations that they wouldn't be able to get away with in a PG-13 movie.
Oh God.
I mean, do you really think they could have sent uh, pre X Force into a wood chipper?
No.
No. Could they have killed the Vanisher? I mean, there are certain things you couldn't have done, and to me, it just hinders the comedy at the end of it all.
I'm gonna pick your brain here, but you remember Deadpool 1, that scene with International Women's Day?
Oh yes, gosh.
They wouldn't have been able to do that either.
No. You could take most of that stuff out there at the start, which
Yeah.
that particular moment I would have been okay with removing from the movie
Yeah.
because I didn't need to know that. Didn't need to know
Mhm.
that. But yeah, there's just a lot of that wouldn't fly in a PG-13 rating. I'll be interested to see just how mutilated the movie gets. So I'll undoubtedly check it out on disc or something and see how they cut it. I'm sure somebody will do some massive breakdown on YouTube about how it affected the overall movie.
I just can't. You said they got the dude from the Princess Bride who sat in the bed in that movie.
Yes,
It's like a parody of the Princess Bride narrated by Deadpool.
it truly is. And then Fred Savage is even going in one of those spots. He's like, "Why Princess Bride? What's the, it's a classic, you know." It's just like uh, I think that part's funny and neat, and I'm okay with that. I'm not okay with castrating Deadpool. Speaking of, it seems like we never talk toy or collector news as
Actually,
much as we should.
I was going to move to that. Since there's actually something
Well,
relevant.
since we're on Deadpool, what toy company is that? Toys Era
Yep,
is soon releasing their cable figure, which I have on
nice.
pre-order. There were two versions of it you could get, one with the lighted eye, one without. Of course, I couldn't do without the lighted eye.
Gotta get those
Um,
gimmicks.
yeah, but also he came with the teleporter, the time machine on his hand. I think like the teddy bear and a couple other things. So I kind of justified it, and it's looking really good. They posted a few pictures here and there, and I like the look of it so far. And then the incredible thing, they're freaking going to pull off a six scale juggernaut.
I remember you saying that a couple weeks back.
I have no words because I have their six scale Colossus, and he is about a quarter of an inch away from the top of a detolf shelf. That's how tall he is.
Yeah, I remember you said he was
So
like 14 inches or so.
yeah, about 14, 14 and a half, something like that. So I can only imagine what a freaking juggernaut's going to be, but I'm going to get him. So clearly, I'm a bit of a Deadpool fan.
I bet you that Juggernaut is gonna be like $350.
I easily, easily 300 because they did a Colossus 2.0 and he was 220, 250, something like that.
Hmm.
So, Juggernaut's going to hit 300 easily. Um, it's going to be hard to justify him. Well, it's hard to justify him in general, but if he gets any higher than 300, it's probably going to be a tough one.
Well, here I'll justify it for you, right? Because Hot Toys just released their newest pre-order for the deluxe Return of the Jedi Luke Skywalker figure.
How much
Two
is that crap?
hundred, $283. Yeah.
And you know how
And
much I paid for my deluxe Jack Sparrow that came out just last year?
let me,
230.
yeah.
So
You know
you're
what the only
telling me that's like a 40 or $50 increase?
it's $50 increase over the regular version, because it comes with two head sculpts, which are fugly. I mean, seriously, he's got like these like grimacing teeth, like sculpts. It's
Yeah,
oh god, it's terrible. It comes with the swept hair from the Tatooine sailboat scene.
yeah.
Comes with the goggles and the Tatooine like scarf wrap from the deleted
Because we
scene.
really needed something from a deleted scene.
Yeah, and then it comes with the indoor gear. And then you can pre-order the indoor version, which is separate for 250. So, yeah.
Dude, if you want to talk ridiculous, I was looking forward to having at least one die-cast Iron Man in my collection. And when they announced that Avengers Iron Man, I was like, yes, this is it. That's the one I want. He's bulked out. He looks pretty cool. He's got all that weaponry and stuff. They announce it, and it's like $420. What? What?
Just for some of the parts that are diecast.
Dude, I have had die-cast figures before. It's a lie. You're paying $100 more for this crap, and the only thing that's die-cast on the entire figure, I'm talking top to bottom, is two shin pieces and the chest armor.
Wasn't
That's it.
The Mark 7 from Iron Man 2, the diecast version, wasn't that like what 300 at one point?
Yep.
Or
Yeah.
so
So,
what
uh,
justified the extra $120 this time? Inflation? Tariff tax?
well,
Jesus.
this was announced before all that because it was announced last year sometime. It's yes. I'm typing in sideshow toy and I want sideshow Bob. Get out of here.
Such a
He's
Bob.
okay. So we are in no way affiliated with sideshow toys because they suck most generally. So here it is, freaking $433.
Jesus.
Are you kidding me? Are you
I
kidding me?
I remember specifically there was a 1/4 Iron Man that was that price like
Yes.
years ago.
Actually, they had one up not that long ago. Here's your quarter scale figure, 613. So only $200, not even $200 more for something that stands 18 inches tall compared to 12-inch figure that's cost $433.
Jeez. So for 6 more inches and $200 more, this product could be yours. Or you can get the 1/6 scale for 400.
And what's stupid
Jesus.
is they have some of their others on here still, I think. Let's see. Yeah, so these are all the previous diecast prices. I want to say uh, that's diecast.
Yeah, 345, yeah.
That's diecast. Where do we go from there to here?
Branding.
And and if you want to really hit the collectors in the nuts, let's throw in this here reused DX stand that came with a previous Terminator figure.
Jeez.
Are you kidding me? We couldn't throw a Chitari on there or something. Make that extra $100 worth something. But, oh no. So yeah, it's a crock, dude. The price. To be honest, I am probably out of it, except with the exception of secondhand figures at this time next year.
Right.
I'm probably out because I won't be able to justify it or afford it anymore. Right now I'm in a place financially where it's like it's really questionable that I should even continue with this because it's getting kind of like eat or toys, eat or toys.
Yeah.
I think I'd rather have my belly full. So yeah, it's a lot of crock of crap to what's going on with figures and stuff, and well, in financial stuff in general. I mean, be it the gas company, toy company, groceries, whatever it is. You know,
Snowstorm.
our 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 paychecks stay the same. Here's your paycheck. Used to be like this. Everything you buy, same as the paycheck. But over time, yeah. So eventually, it's going to get to a point where no one can pay for anything, and then where will they all be? We'll all of us be standing in the welfare line.
I think this is Howard Chan's last push to just, get as much Marvel fanboy money as he can. Because you know that he's looking at this, it's like, oh gosh, Star Wars is in a bad place right now, and
Well,
he's
you're,
looking at Marvel, and he's like, oh no, no more Iron Man after this.
but see, that's the brilliance. That's the brilliance of Howard Chan. You see, because you're already seeing his decision making. It's out in the wild.
Yep.
What can we do to keep milking Marvel? I know all 42 odd, 50 odd Iron Man. Let's make them all die cast, and that's how I'll keep milking it. I mean, you saw just then the Mark III, the Mark VII, the prototype, all made in diecast already. The very next one will probably be the Mark One, which would be interesting. That's one that would be tempting, but not if it's going to be $433.
I'm
Uh,
surprised he hasn't done this with the Troopers yet in Star Wars. He's not producing them as much as he is with the Iron Man yet, but I'm pretty sure he will eventually.
well, he's not going to run out of properties anytime soon, because that's the burden, if you will, of any corporate entity is that they have to keep milking everything that they've made. And so that's why I'm fairly certain that all the Marvel movies will continue with some half-assed versions of the heroes. Um, I'm pretty sure Cap will die and Bucky will take up the reins. Um, I'm sure eventually Iron Man will take a back seat to cameoing in Spider-Man movies and eventually cameoing in a continued Iron Man with a chick, I'm sure. um, all that's that they're just going to milk them to death and until we're totally sick of them. And to be honest, I'm not far from being sick of Marvel movies. Because really, for me, Infinity War was like the end of an era
Yeah.
in everything that they did, and so that second uh, Infinity War movie is pretty much going to be the capstone of Marvel for me. I'll pretty much be done with the Marvel movies after that.
Yeah.
I'll catch them secondhand or on Netflix, but yeah, because anything they do after this is just going to fall flat.
Well, I mean, look at it. It already is. I mean, if you look at what they've already done to their Netflix series by, canceling Punisher and Daredevil and Luke Cage and Iron Fist and not even having good directors or screenplays or anything with the ones that were canceled before Daredevil. I mean, it just shows you the lack of direction Disney has for the future of the franchise.
Yeah. Uh, to be honest, um, Iron Fist deservedly went bye bye.
I never even
Um,
watched it, so I'm just naming it.
I watched I watched the majority of season one, and dude, it was like paint drying. Um, I kind of enjoyed Luke Cage. To be honest, sort of loved whatever the hell it was, the chick.
Jessica Jones.
Yeah, that one was actually not bad, man. It had a good bit of tension in it. Um, the guy from Doctor Who played a hell of a villain. So I actually kind of like that, and I kind of like Luke Cage um, for what it was. And I have yet to watch Punisher, but yeah,
I I I watch Punisher. For what I could say about it, it's basically the end of it is Punisher, but until there, you're basically just going along with PTSD flashbacks the whole entire time.
ugh,
Yeah,
okay. Talk about boring down your character. I mean, eh,
they basically make it to where like his actions in I guess it's like the Middle East is what caused his family to be killed and for him to be hunted down and shit like that.
mm,
So from that, he's basically trying to find all his old team members and shit to order the execution of his family.
mm.
So
I don't know.
there's certain points like where if he gets shot or something like that, he's like going to shock and he's just like having like a re moment where he's like talking to his dead wife in some scenes and shit like that.
Man, I don't know what they think sometimes.
And
Let's take one of the most badass human characters in the Marvel universe, and let's just make him a complete weirdo, and not necessarily taking out the bad guys or nothing, and he's just busy having PTSD. Which, mm, I don't know.
well, well, it's kind of weird because you have to forgive me. It's been such a long time since I've read anything Punisher. But who's the dude who usually helped Punisher out on the computers and shit?
I can't remember. I remember him. I don't remember his name.
Yeah, well, they actually incorporated him this time, and actually in the Punisher series.
Hmm.
And but this time he's not working with Punisher. He's actually being protected by Punisher because his family is now in jeopardy, and he can't go back until Punisher gets rid of the guys he's also trying to hunt down who were basically trying to kill this dude as well.
Hmm.
So he's like got all these like supercomputers and shit, basically telling Punisher what to do and everything, and certain things, I guess. But most of the time, he's just like in this like underground like warehouse with a bunch of computers and like a fucking uh you know a t-shirt with some pajama pants on or like a house coat and shit. Mess, messy hair and shit. It's kind of weird.
Yeah.
I actually expected a lot different from Punisher at least. I mean, I don't know why can't they could just do like a straightforward thing like Cartel kills his family, he goes on a rampage to kill every son bitch on the face of the earth. Is it that fucking hard?
I don't know. It doesn't make any sense to just have to keep complicating things. I thought he was done fairly well in Daredevil, but I mean, if you're going to show if you're going to show him at the height of his uh, vigilantism and then you go to a series and you take it all the way back to before that, it's kind of dumb. I
Actually,
mean,
they make the show is actually after he goes full vigilante. Now he's like in hiding and shit. Like he's not doing full vigilante shit anymore. It's actually starts off with him sniping somebody, and he's like going undercover trying to hide himself and shit. It's really weird,
uh,
especially for someone whose face has been fucking put all over the fucking news media. Like, where the fuck do you think you're gonna hide?
oh, geez.
I
Yeah, I don't know.
honestly, I want fucking '90s cartoon Punisher. You know, like the fucking van and shit, busting through fucking walls and just going full fucking Rambo with a fucking LMG. That's the Punisher I remember.
Well, that's the one everyone wants to see, really. That was what was always cool about him, is because it past the initial drama, there was nothing else to be bothered with this character. There wasn't some massive backstory or anything. It's like, you killed my family, I'm going to kill you. Brr. And that was his story. He went after bad guys. He did his job, and he moved on to the next bad guy. But apparently, that just ain't something.
Yeah, the, I think with Marvel, DC, and everybody, they overthink their characters too much. So just stick to the basics of what they are.
Yeah, yeah. Well, there's a lot of, I don't know what you call over explanation of stuff anymore. I mean, it's just, it's going to be the whole Nick Fury's eyeball thing. The same with uh, the Solo movie. Hey, did you know between the two front parts of
Jeez,
the Falcon there used to be an escape pod? Don't you know that the computer feminist chick is was
in the
actually
computer.
the computer for the Falcon? Oh, don't you want to know how Solo got the Falcon? It's like, no, we don't, because that's what was charming.
Don't you want to know how Solo did the Kessel Run? No.
Don't you? Oh God. No, we don't. Because the absence of these things actually makes them captivating
I
to
call it I call it the Boba Fett effect, and I say that because with
uh-huh. They
with
did that.
you just kill the character, you kill the character's mysteriousness. You know, like
Mhm.
who's underneath the fucking helmet? Well, who's really Han Solo? You know, you if you tell everything about the character, then it ruins the whole thing. And I think that's why a lot of people were like, well, why couldn't they just, leave Star Wars as the original trilogy? Why did they have to tell you what the Clone Wars was? Like, why couldn't they just leave that to your imagination?
Yeah, I guess they've been over explaining stuff for quite a while, really. I mean, yeah, we didn't need to know all that crap. We don't need to know that.
I mean, that's why still to this day I like Revenge of the Sith as the only prequel film because it just basically sums up what should have just been, a prequel. He just falls to the fucking dark side and turns to Darth Vader. And
Yeah. You almost don't need those first two movies
no,
before it.
you don't like if you were to make Revenge of the Sith like the only prequel, it would be a far better prequel trilogy without a trilogy to begin with.
That's funny. Yeah, it's true too. It's like, this is the only one. This is the only movie we needed.
Yeah, and the great thing about Revenge of the Sith is that Jar Jar doesn't even speak. He just like bows his head at sadness in the background. Like he's not this annoying character like he was in the films before it.
Yeah.
So the whole tone of the film is like really dark and shit. So it's like there's nothing in it that's actually I consider to be a bad film besides some acting a little bit here and there. But Star Wars has always had bad acting, especially with some of the actors like Mark Hamill in Empire Strikes Back and A New Hope with their whiny ass voice. but you know.
Apparently, October has been been commenting. I keep forgetting to go to YouTube
Oh,
to check the
jeez.
comments. Apparently, at one point, we were grinding his gears. I'm sure that was around during the Godzilla talk.
Or it may have been Punisher. You don't never know.
I don't know.
What's the timestamp on it? Do you see?
That's the problem. It doesn't show me a timestamp on my end, but you apparently were seeing them.
Yeah, hang on. Let me see if I can see it. I might be able to. Give me a second.
Well, I think the Spidey's done.
Yeah, it looks like it just needs to have the eyes.
Eyes. Yeah. I've got those covered with latex right now, so I'll peel that away and paint them in. But I'm not too far away. Let me show you.
He
Let's
said
see.
grinding my gears 2 minutes ago.
On what though? What ground your gears?
I know. That's what I'm asking. What grinds your gears?
All right, so here's the nearly finished piece.
Wow, man, that looks great. Man, you can really tell there was a lot of detail in that skull, that sideshow. It just did not put any effort into putting into what you just did.
No, huh? I mean, especially with the
Yeah,
crane
especially with
piece.
yeah, that piece looks awesome. I mean, honestly, if you were to put a white backdrop behind that, I'd honestly think that someone drew that. That's how that's how good painted that is.
Yep. So pretty much, I just have it has two head sculpts, so I have two sets of eyes to do his emblem, and he is pretty well done. The I beam is done, and then it's just down to the explosion, really. So
Right.
I'm getting there. I'm going to say it'll probably be done by Christmas and ready to ship out the week after. So
Oh,
and then
he's he said the Star Wars talk.
oh yeah,
uh,
that too. The Star Wars talk would get him.
I, I
You
guess
missed
he's
the Godzilla conversation, which we called your precious Shin Godzilla something like ignorant.
yeah, yeah.
So you'll have to rewind and make vulgar comments on the final podcast later when we're tearing down Godzilla.
Let's just say that when it comes to Shin Godzilla, the term "fish out of water" comes to mind. Uh,
Dropping penis-shaped Godzilla out of the water.
yeah, that's what happens when you don't wear protection kits. That's what it looks like.
It's just you show me that. It's the most awkward thing I've ever watched. This is like slimy Godzilla peen critter coming onto land. It's like it's just like, really? We did this? This is what we did?
It honestly looks like one of those prepubescent chicken embryos in the eggshell, and someone cracks open it like way too fucking early, and it's just like rolling around. Fucking crazy shit. It's nasty.
Well, and if you really want to grind October's gears, you say after watching Shin Godzilla, it's no wonder the Americans needed to take Godzilla out of the Japanese hands. He will go through the roof. Just wait for the comment. Only the Americans could do Godzilla well.
creators of Independence Day.
Yeah, that's the only way you'd get a good Godzilla movie if it was a sequel to the Ronald Emmerich film.
There was supposed to be one. That's why the egg hatched in the end of the '98. But they scrubbed it because Toho had got so offended by their by their interpretation of Godzilla, because what they were promising and kept going to Toho with was not what the final product they had shown in theaters.
Hmm. Imagine
Yeah, there's
that.
there was a
Hollywood
lot of
lying.
there was a lot of concept art from '98. Like there was a bunch of stuff that they could have gone with that even Stan Winston himself had actually created.
I think me and October had that conversation, and we reviewed a few of the Stan Winston design things because they had a maquette or something, I think.
Yeah. Yep.
But his coloring was a little more dragony, like green and
Yeah, well
tan.
they were from what I was hearing, the original concept wasn't supposed to be a lizard in the Fiji Islands. It was supposed to be the Komodo dragon because it would
Yeah.
make more sense, I guess,
Hmm.
because they can breathe on the water and oh well, technically a little bit, but but it was supposed to look more crocodilian in shape wise and such like that.
Yeah. Hmm.
But when they got down to the final design, Toho actually did approve the final design. They just didn't know that it was going to be like this. I don't know, a
Jay
glum.
Leno Godzilla.
Well, I guess. I mean, it was just like a. I don't know what movie to compare it to. It was just an animal trying to find a way to nest and take over the world. It wasn't like it was doing massive destruction in New York and shit, unless it was climbing through the sewers. Which
Hmm.
honestly, that shit drove me nuts. It's like, why is it climbing through the fucking sewers? It's like,
Yeah.
and
I don't know.
it never used its atomic breath, but once, and it was even a fucked up atomic breath. It's like it actually leaned over its head on the ground, and then like all the cars started exploding down the alley. That was the only time. It's like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah. Well, I think we can all agree that it gets no worse than the Ronald Emmerich Godzilla.
Oh
Although
god,
Shin Godzilla is a close second.
I'm just curious. Have you seen Godzilla Final Wars?
No, no.
Ew.
I was into Godzilla as a kid, and it was sort of something you grew out of, and it was just one of those things I grew out of. So I have a mild interest in it now, but I haven't gone out of my way to watch the movies in a long time.
Yeah. Well, Final Wars was actually Toho's technically last Godzilla film back in 2004, being it was like 50th anniversary. And it basically they threw every single monster you could think of in the fucking film,
Hmm.
including the '98 Godzilla, which they renamed Zilla as a new separate monster that their Godzilla killed. So
Oh, jeez. Zilla.
yeah.
Oh, boy. Yeah. Well, yeah, on that note,
Yeah, I think it's time to wrap this up because I got some stuff to do tonight too.
yeah, well, yeah. It's been pretty good talk though. Covered covered quite a bit of stuff.
Yep. Let's just hope that we get some more content for next week. It's been kind of like a slow news period for the most part.
Well, we'll have the Far From Home trailer to look forward to,
Oh, jeez.
which will come out in about 15 minutes.
Please, please don't tell me that's true.
You were right, dude. It seems like every time we end one, like big news hits.
Yeah, every time, every time. It's no
Uh,
wonder these people on podcasts stay up like at 2 or 3 in the morning because they're always
at
like,
eight,
"What's new? What's new?"
at 8 o'clock, a surprising premiere of Terminator 6.
Is it 8 o'clock now? No, it's 8:26. Oh,
Well, it's
jeez.
not it's not quite 8 here, but that'd be funny. Just like a big freaking movie trailer pop up right when we end the podcast.
Yeah.
Well, I guess that's it for me.
Yep, and that's it for me. So, from all of you who are watching, we thank you for watching. And if you got here late, please note to rewind and be kind. Have a great day, everybody.
Later.